Hey, it's Marina, Travel Experta, and today we're going to be talking about learning Spanish in Guatemala. Are you guys ready for an adventure? Let's begin. How did I end up in Guatemala? 22 years ago, I left my house just traveling south. One thing I did know is that I really wanted to learn Spanish. While I was in Mexico, I I was the only one out of everybody backpacking that really wanted to learn Spanish. And I hitchhiked the majority of Mexico. I'm not going to go into that whole story, but let me tell you one thing, hitchhiking in Mexico, Mexico is such a huge country that because I was the one that wanted to learn Spanish the most out of all my friends that were backpacking, I was always put into the front seat, and that helped me learn my Spanish. But obviously, I really wanted to learn Spanish. And the more I was telling people how much I love Spanish, I want to learn Spanish, everybody's like, you need to go to Guatemala. Guatemala is the cheapest country in the world as of today, where you can learn Spanish with a private instructor. So this was a really huge thing. So even though at that point I knew very little about Guatemala, but I did know that I wanted to get to Guatemala because I wanted to learn Spanish, and you could get these amazing packages for 1 week, for a month, where you could learn one-on-one, 4 hours per day, private lessons with learning Spanish, because there are amazing Spanish schools here and private tutors here. So eventually I did make my way to Guatemala. I have a whole other story about, because I ended up meeting my husband on the very first day arriving to Guatemala. It's a whole other story, but eventually I did learn Spanish here. I took 1 week and I learned Spanish, and we're talking about, there's so many different options. You could just do one-on-one. You could do the family stay or the stay. If you're a family, obviously you could do that. You stay with another family and you go to school. So there are many different school options. But if you want to move here, you could have private tutors. And we're talking super low prices, right? And this is definitely, to this day, I believe that Guatemala is still the lowest price country in the world to learn Spanish, regardless of what package you want to do. One-on-one, and you pay directly, taking a school, doing a package, whatnot. So this is what the reason why I arrived to Guatemala, and a lot of people do as well. And then they fall in love with Guatemala or with a Guatemalan and end up staying. So as I was saying, Guatemala is definitely the best country for you on your own or your family or whatnot to come and learn Spanish and also really enjoy the culture. If you guys have any questions more about learning Spanish in Guatemala, please let me know. I'm happy to help. You could also visit my website, travelexperta.com, travelexpert with an A.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review and share with your friends. And remember to make every day an adventure.